Welcome back, and in this video we're going to finish our pathway through the male reproductive system by going external to the structures of the penis. So the first thing is we have the urethra that travels the entire length of the penis, and that is known as the penile urethra, or some people call it the spongy urethra, and either name is okay. And as you can see, this is just a continuation from the prostatic urethra through the membranous urethra and then the penile urethra all the way to that external urethral orifice. The distal part of the penis, the part that you may call the head of the penis, which is not acceptable, neither is balls for testis, is known as the glans penis. I want to point out the word is not gland as in secreting something, because no secreting comes from this part of the penis. Okay? In fact, the penis doesn't secrete anything. So this is the glans penis. And if you are not circumcised, the glans penis may have skin that covers it. So some models are circumcised and some models are not circumcised. So when I look at what is on this slide, on the left, we have circumcised penis as being representative. So I cannot give you the next structure. And that is the prepuce. So the prepuce, that's what you know as the foreskin, but the real name is the prepuce. So it's kind of like a turtleneck sweater that's going to cover the head or the glans penis. And so just have the external urethral orifice at the end of it being exposed. So if the glans penis looks like it has a turtleneck sweater covering it, then a prepuce is present. If on the other hand, all you see is a cow neck, then that penis has been circumcised. So let's not circumcise the penis, but let's do a coronal cut. And if we do a coronal cut, what we will notice is there are three big structures represented by pink in here. It's kind of like a monkey's head, doesn't it? And so right here, this is one structure we've already learned about, and that is the penile urethra. But then we clearly can see that there are some significant arteries that go inside the penis. And all these pink areas represent what we call erectile tissue. There are spaces that when they get filled with blood make the penis go erect. So I want you to notice that in the coronal cut, you clearly can see there's only one that completely surrounds the urethra, and then there are two other ones. However, if you were to do a parasagittal cut, then you would only see one of these two big ones, and it would look like you are seeing one above the urethra and one below the urethra. So you would be confused, and the one type that you only have one of, it looks like you have two of, and then the one that you have two of, it looks like you only have one of. So in order to understand that better, upper right-hand corner, that's the coronal section. All the other pictures are showing sagittal sections or transverse blade section in the bottom left corner. So we're going to start first with the erectile tissue that completely surrounds the urethra. So this is known as the corpus spongiosum. And called that because when you look at it, you see all these little holes in it. It looks like your kitchen sponge. Okay? And so if you find the penile urethra on both sides of it, find the penile urethra on both sides, and the same thing here, penile urethra on both sides. And I have these extra arrows just to make you realize that the penis starts as an internal structure, and then part of it moves externally. So we have corpus spongiosum both internally and externally, just like we had penile urethra internally and externally. So this is the corpus spongiosum. And one other thing I want you to notice, if you look at the green in the left lower quadrant, you will notice that the entire glans penis is made of corpus spongiosum. All right, now in contrast to the one corpus spongiosum that surrounds the penile urethra, we have two of these next structures each of which surrounds an artery. But if you look at this, what you will notice is these spaces in this sponge are huge. They're big. They're like trucks that you can drive. Sorry, they're like caves that you can drive a Mack truck into it. You ever been to any of the underground caverns, then you know what I'm talking about. These are huge caves or caverns. And that's why each of these structures is called a corpus cavernosum. So in real life, you have two of these as clearly seen in the coronal view and in the transverse view. But in the sagittal view, you will only see one of these. And I will say in the sagittal view, instead of having little tiny dots to represent little spongy holes, this one tends to show little slashes so that you get the idea that these holes are bigger. So 2 corpora cavernosa and 1 corpus spongiosum. And lastly, if we look above the corpora cavernosum in this view, there is a very prominent vein which can be seen on the models as a blue structure right here, right there, and right there. And this is known as the dorsal vein of the penis, which seems kind of counterintuitive because if you look at this dorsal vein of the penis, it's going to go all the way down like this, and you're going, but that is facing the anterior direction. But it's not named for when the penis is flaccid, but when the penis is erect, then this is on the dorsal surface of the penis. So we're just going to leave it at that. And with now we are done with the penis, but there's one more video about the male reproductive system, and that's the structures of the sperm. Pretty easy, so I know I'll see you right away for that one. Thank you.